the boys are home again, all over the world, and rain or snow is all that may fall from the skies above. I kiss.
May I repeat again the words I used at that momentous hour. Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few. It is right and natural that we should extol the virtues and glorious services of our own most famous commanders, Alexander and Montgomery, neither of whom was ever defeated since they began together at Alamein. At the same time, we know how great is our debt to the combining and unifying command and high strategic direction of General Eisenhower. And here is the moment when I must pay my personal tribute to the British chiefs of the staff, Field Marshal Brooke, Admiral Andrew Cunningham, and Marshal of the Air Portal. I wish I could tell you that all our toils and troubles were over, but on the contrary, I must warn you that there is still a lot to do. On the continent of Europe, we have yet to make sure that the simple and honorable...
Morning.
Magnus Spence, our weatherman, sir.
Hello, Spence.
Yeah.
I hope you're going to give me better weather than you gave my predecessor.
I'll do my best, sir. Wing Commander Weldon, sir, just been posted to you. Personal staff officer.
You're Dean of Magdalen College, Oxford.
Yes, sir. I'm a philosopher.
In your spare time. Come to dinner tonight.
Your group commander, sir.
Yes, I think I know them. What's more, they know me. Some of you were here when the war began. Your first directive was to attack German shipping, but not to drop bombs if there was any danger to civilians. You had to bring your bombs back. Usually, you were shot down for gentlemanly conduct. Policy has changed. We're no longer in the export and import business. We're not playing games anymore. We're going on the offensive. We're going to consign the Third Reich to oblivion. We are going to win this war. Not the Army, or Navy, or Fighter Command, but us, Bomber Command. Progressively and systematically, we are going to take apart every industrial city, street by street, and block by block until the Boche surrenders. You'll tell your men we're no longer going on ops, but into battle. And it isn't the Battle of Britain or the Battle of the Atlantic. It's the Battle of Germany. The only battle that will win this war. The Boche have sown the wind. They'll reap the whirlwind. Air Ministry Directive number 39, 14th of February 1942, to CNC Bomber Command. Henceforward, you are authorized to employ your forces against the industrial areas of Germany without restriction. Primary targets: Essen, Duisburg, Dusseldorf, Cologne. Secondary targets: Lübeck, Rostock, Bremen, Kiel, Hanover, Frankfurt, Mannheim, Stuttgart, Schweinfurt. Operation should now be focused upon the morale of the enemy civil population, and in particular, industrial workers.
Oh, Flight, you do know the Air Marshal has an ulcer.
Yes, Mum. He'll want plenty of milk, no greasy, no fried foods.
That means no chips.
Right. He'll want boiled fish, boiled vegetables, no stews, no pickles, nor anything irritating. He'll be home for lunch at 1300 hours each day and back for dinner at 1930 hours each evening. Glass of milk by his bedside every night and on the table at every meal.
Evening, darling. Everything all right?
Yes.
Darling, you know Air Vice Marshal Sawnby. Sandy, you met Jilly.
Delighted to see you again, Jill.
This is Flight Lieutenant Mays, my new ADC.
How do you do?
How do you do, Mrs. Harris?
Evening, Flight.
Evening, sir.
Bert was saying he hoped he might be working with you again. When was the first time?
1923.
Oh, you were flying with him in Mesopotamia.
Yes.
No, he wasn't. He was in another aircraft. Here, smoke yourself to death. From Yankee Land.
Oh, tar very much, sir.
The Army only recognizes a tank if it eats hay and defecates. You were Army in the trenches. How do you feel about bombing?
Oh, we philosophers are more interested in Descartes than 500-pounders, sir.
So what would Descartes have thought of 500-pounders?
He was only concerned with primary truths.
He believed philosophers should keep out of war.
Yes, unless they're personal staff officers.
I see Bertrand Russell has given us his blessing this time.
Yes, he sees no alternative to force. It's no longer a moral issue.
And what do you think?
I agree, sir.
Beware the Greeks bearing gifts. Would Russell go over the Ruhr with my boys? Well, if you don't condemn it, you back it. If you back it, have you got the guts to do it? Could he knowingly kill innocent people? That's the issue.
Yes, that is a moral issue, sir.
So you do have reservations, then, about the conduct of war?
The conduct of war.
Yes, how it's done.
May I let you know that when I've witnessed it?
I'll tell you my philosophy. I did so much foot slogging in the last war that I got into the air as fast as I could. It's far more comfortable.
That's not philosophy.
Isn't it?
No, sir, that is common sense.
Jilly, how about these two moving in with us?
Well, yes, of course. We've got spare rooms.
Well, that's very kind
Very kind of you both.
It isn't kind at all. I'm fighting this war round the clock. It'll save me ringing you at 2 in the morning.
Plenty of moths and butterflies around here, Sandy. You'll be in your element.
I lied to the groups. Only 20% of aircraft have got within 5 miles of their target since the war began. And only a small fraction of the 20% have actually hit the targets. The truth is, we're a total failure. Oh, we've got mostly bloody awful aircraft. And what we have got is being pinched from us by Beaverbrook for Coastal Command, the Navy, the Middle East. What do we do?
See Beaverbrook?
At 0900 this morning, Sawnby reported to me that he had only 69 heavy bombers in the front line. I'm here to ask why.
Bomber Command won't get its 4,000 aircraft.
I'm asking for 10.
No good, Harris.
We all have directives. Yours was to produce, by now, 41 heavy squadrons. We've got 17.
Yours is not the only service with a claim to bomber aircraft.
I'm the only commander worth giving them to.
No. Original policy has been altered.
Facts. I'm talking about half-trained lads going into battle, of which half are lost in accidents because they haven't got decent aircraft.
I have been trying to get you as many Lancasters as I can, Harris.
With your production ministry hat on.
What?
With your war cabinet hat on, you've been sabotaging me. You've been telling Churchill that they should go to the Middle and Far East, to Coastal Command, everywhere except where the war is.
I can understand your personal interest. Yes, that's quite understandable.
My what?
Well, after all, you were responsible for the design of the Lancaster.
I suggested mods to the Manchester, which produced the Lancaster. My interest is in saving lives, and the Sterling is a bloody death trap. When I attack the Boche, I want my air crews to go at a reasonable height and speed. I don't want them picked off at 12,000 feet.
Last autumn, Bomber Command lost almost its entire front line in 16 weeks. Every aircraft you had ready for action was lost. That was an Air Force disaster, the equivalent of the Somme.
That was under Pierce, the last chief, not me.
Exactly. And what have you done to prove yourself?
I can't without decent aircraft. But they've got to be thousands, a few hundreds useless.
Your force was wiped out, and now you want to take them over the top again? This time taking with you the entire industrial output of this country?
I've spent 20 years developing the theory and practice of bombing. I developed it with Sornby. Night bombing, navigation, target marking. Nobody else gave a damn. I was fighting for decent bomber aircraft when everybody else was obsessed with seaplane racing. Not for my personal interest, but because I knew a properly equipped and trained bomber force would save this island from blockade and was the only means of taking the war to the enemy should it happen. And now it's happened. And if I'm going over the top, as you say, I would like to go with something slightly more effective than a swagger stick.
Good shot!
How long is it since these men had a hot meal?
Well, they've no time, sir. They're trying to get G functioning.
I said, how long is it since they had a hot, bloody meal?
A week, sir.
How long is it since they went to bed?
3 nights, sir.
Get to bed. All of you.
Sir,
Now! I don't want heroes. I want this device in my aircraft working so we can find the targets. That comes from fresh minds.
Yes, sir.
Wing Commander Weldon said you wanted help in selling Bomber Command, sir.
Why? Want to buy it? What's that load of bump?
Leaflets for dropping on Germany. Political warfare, people. For your approval, sir.
Looks lethal. What does it say?
It tells the Germans they're not getting their Volkswagens. Well, they put their money down in trust, so how can they be expected to believe in Goebbels?
Right, I've approved them. What's that?
The Hansard report you wanted, sir.
Urgent, sir. The Prime Minister requests you at dinner. Urgent, sir. The Prime Minister requests you at dinner tomorrow night.
Thank the Prime Minister and say yes.
Yes, sir.
A growing volume of opinion in this country considers the indiscriminate bombing of civilian centers both morally wrong and strategic lunacy. Richard Stokes, MP. Good man, Stokes. Decorated in the last.
The Russians, you know, want me to help them by starting a second front. If I told them that you were my second front, could you do it?
Give me 4,000 aircraft and we wouldn't need the Russians.
Charwell believes that you can break the enemy's will.
Don't know about will. I could break their industry with 4,000 Lancasters.
You'd attack the Ruhr, huh?
The Ruhr, then Berlin.
Can you reach Berlin?
With Lancasters. With better navigational equipment, yes, sir. I'd also help the Russians. I'd force Hitler to bring back his fighter aircraft from the Eastern Front against me.
You lose how many over Essen tonight?
8.
8 out of 200 is 4%. Well, what's 4% of 4,000?
160.
160.
But it won't work like that. It works the opposite. Massive forces would overwhelm the flak. The searchlights wouldn't cone single aircraft. And over the targets, our bomb loads would saturate and make up for loss of precision bombing.
How soon would you win the war?
July next year.
Without a land invasion, bombing alone?
With 4,000 aircraft in the American 8th. With them, I could bomb round the clock, maybe win in half the time.
You're a fanatic. We've had them in the army. Desert visionaries, missionaries. I thought Trenchard was the air maniac, but you're worse. I shall have to call you Bomber. You've drunk precious little, so I'll tell you. The Boche are working on new and terrible weapons. One of them is a bomb. I don't understand how one may split an atom, but it scares the daylights out of me. It could perhaps disintegrate the globe itself. I want you to devastate those cities. Above all, I want you to keep the war mobile. I want no more trench warfare. Cut them back, Bomber. Slow them down. However, first you've got to help me save Bomber Command. You've got to prove something, do something, stop them getting rid of you. Can you do that? Can you perform a miracle?
Let's build the stairway to the stars and climb that stairway to the stars with love beside us, just like a beautiful song. Sound of violins out yonder where the blue begins. The moon will guide us as we go drifting along. Can't we sail away on a lazy daisy petal over the rim of the hill? Can't we sail away on a little dream and settle high on the crest of a tree?
So, out of a total of 211 aircraft dispatched, 177 attacked Essen. 294.8 tons of bombs were dropped. The reconnaissance photographs were taken at 0630 hours, by which time visibility was good. As you will see, sir, the Krupp's works were untouched. A number of aircraft were lured away from the primary target by the enemy lighting decoy fires at Rheinberg, 20 miles away. At the same time, a Sterling was hit and jettisoned its incendiaries, causing fires at Hamborn, 8 miles from the target. This also led to aircraft being lured away. Clearly, The intention of exploiting G as a blind bombing marker has failed.
What went wrong?
We don't know, sir. We are investigating. We can navigate on the intersecting beams from the home stations, but target finding and hitting looks a different matter, sir.
You still need moonlight. All right, Spence, give me the worst.
Sir, the forecast at 0800 hours. Tonight, the whole of northern Europe will be covered by cloud, much of it cumulonimbus. That will clear tomorrow, but behind it there's an intense depression moving in from the west. With regard to landings visibility, particularly in 4 group area, should improve by dawn, but then deteriorate later in the day.
When can I see Germany again?
Not in the foreseeable future, sir.
Here endeth morning prayers. We're spitting in the wind. Miracle. Every Lancaster we get's a bloody miracle. Never mind moonlight. I don't need a miracle, I need half a dozen.
It's a lovely day tomorrow. Tomorrow is a lovely day. Come and feast your tear-dimmed eyes on tomorrow's clear blue skies. If today your heart is weary, if every little thing looks gray, just forget your troubles and learn to say, tomorrow is a lovely day.
With everything, all aircraft at 0800 this morning. Operational, training, conversion, flying and non-flying, we have 921.
What's the Daily Express going to make of 921 aircraft? How do you grab headlines, Harry?
You need a magic number.
What's that, 999?
No. 1,000.
Aim
to cause severe industrial disruption to a major city of the Ruhr. Secondly, to assist the Russians by forcing the enemy to withdraw men and anti-aircraft weapons from the Eastern Front.
Method?
By dispatching 1,000 aircraft over the city in a space of 90 minutes, thereby saturating the defenses.
Risk of collision over the target.
My statisticians say 2 aircraft will collide.
General Joff made a decision. To hold the right bank at Verdun. They told him it was highly dangerous, that he bore a great responsibility. He said, I've borne others. You'll either be famous or disgraced, as will I. But in the latter case, we could lose the war.
We have 15 days in which to strike a blow at the enemy which will resound throughout the world. It will be the start of winning the war. 1,000 aircraft will attack either Hamburg or Cologne. One of them will be completely destroyed. Will I live?
Oh, you'll live, but you must rest.
I'll talk with Mrs. Harris, if I may.
Coastal Command's withdrawn their aircraft.
Why?
They say they need them.
Who is it this time?
The Admiral.
What about aircrew?
We're still 95 crews short. I suggest we pull in the screened crews. Let them rest when it's over.
Yes.
Oh, and we can't have Millennium. The Army wants it for the land invasion when it comes.
Tell them we've got it.
They suggest we have Overlord.
Tell them we're now fighting this war, They're not lording it over us. Tell them they probably won't need an invasion if Millennium works out. Sandy, listen. I want every airframe. Anything that has wings. I want every fitter, every grease monkey.
Leave it to me.
Your butterfly collection.
They can't fly. They're dead.
Then put a pin through the Red Admiral.
He really should go away for 6 months. He's not well. At all.
Did you tell him that?
No, I thought it better you did.
1,046 all told.
Yes?
The depression over the British Isles has now moved northwest, bringing wet and windy weather to much of the continent. I'm afraid there's little chance of full moonlight over either Hamburg or Cologne.
No point in prayers this morning, then. We've got one more go. Come up with some weather, Spence. Bomber Command depends on you.
Yes, sir.
Yes?
The officers here from the Political Warfare Executive, sir.
Send him in. What's political warfare, Harry?
Conservative versus Labour.
Good morning, sir. I won't take up your valuable time. Come straight to the point. My executive is launching a major offensive against German morale, much more devastating than the leaflet about Goebbels. These are actual dead German civilians killed by your bombs. We aim to produce millions of them. We're in the process of producing 50 different leaflets of a similar nature. We hope by next year you'll have dropped at least 50 million.
What are their names?
Names, sir?
Yes. Who are they?
I've no idea, sir. How do you mean?
Herr Gross, an innocent German civilian killed by the brutal RAF. How does that sound?
I'd say that would get their backs up, sir. Be more counterproductive.
You'll excuse me. I'm very busy.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir?
Get me C&C Fighter Command.
Yes, sir.
Strange what some people think of as war.
That's the danger. Thinking.
Yes?
C&C Fighter Command, sir.
Hello, Sholto. Millennium. Weather's defeated us. Last chance tomorrow night. I want you to lay on a fighter sweep to end all fighter sweeps. Don't tell me you haven't got the aircraft. All right, Spence. It's our last chance. Give it me.
Sir, the forecast for tonight was prepared at 07:30. The prospects for both landings and target areas are mixed. Over northern Germany, there is much thundery cloud, and some breaks in the northwest, decreasing southwards and dispersing gradually in the middle Rhineland. With regard to home bases, returning crews in all group areas can expect convection cloud decreasing with some thundery showers.
Any chance of a full moon over the target areas?
I may be able to answer that in a later forecast, due any minute, sir.
Thank you, Spence.
Sir.
Prime Minister's.
Yes, sir. We're waiting for a late weather forecast. I'll let you know my decision as soon as I've made it.
Net desk? Yes, sir.
Spence? Yes.
Thank you.
Sir, the latest is that it remains much the same, except the thundery cloud may disperse to relatively small amounts over the Rhineland by late evening. But there's still doubt about the prospect for full moonlight.
The 1,000 plan? Cologne. Tonight. Let's wipe it out.
So, last night, the entire force of Bomber Command, including its reserves, attacked Cologne. There was brilliant moonlight over the target area. 1 and 3 Group commenced the attack at 0038 hours with incendiaries aimed at Neumark, the old center of the town. Aircraft of the operational training units followed, aiming at the fires created by the first wave. The third wave of 4 and 5 Group aircraft completed the attack with high explosive and incendiaries. The final bomb was dropped at 0318 hours. First reports indicate that 898 aircraft claim to have reached and attacked the target, dropping a total of 1,455 tons. 40 aircraft are missing, representing 3.8% of the total force dispatched. Only 1 collision was reported over the target area. The reconnaissance photographs were taken at 0530 hours. You will see, sir, from numbers 1 to 10 that total damage has been caused to a large proportion of the built-up area, as witnessed by the huge pall of smoke rising to 15,000 feet. We shall be in a better position to assess the damage when the smoke has cleared.
Good. Get me the Prime Minister.
Moonlight becomes you, it goes with your hair. You certainly know the right thing to wear. Moonlight becomes you.
This boffin, Barnes Wallace, what did you make of him, Harry? I found him impressive. So did I. Don't get much for its targets, though. Requires a special squadron. It's precision bombing, and it won't win the war. What did you make of him, Sandy?
I'd say a successful breach of the Ruhr dams would make quite a splash.
I feel like a damned impresario.
Another set of headlines like that, and Portal can't refuse us Berlin.
The Air Ministry, maybe. What about the politicians? You mean Churchill? Yes. He likes headlines, doesn't he?
them to know that thumbs are up in England, the sign that shows that everything's okay. The boys have brought a word back home to England, for over there they always used to say, put your thumbs up and say it's tickety-boo, 'cause tickety-boo means everything will be fine. You'll always wear a smile if you'll only say it's tickety-boo, tickety-boo.
Wing Commander Gibson, VC, the man who led the Lancasters in the devastating attack on the Ruhr dams. Every member of the crews who took part in this tremendous and most successful air operation was presented to their Majesties when they visited the station. Probably true to say that the 19 Lancasters which breached the Merna and Ada dams caused more havoc to the enemy than any other air raid since the war began. It was a stroke of genius on the part of Bomber Command.
We've got Churchill and the nation behind us, and they send us this. A new directive, the latest panacea. Stop going deeper into Germany and go for the Luftwaffe. Attack enemy fighters and their factories. Forget the enemy's weakening capacity. There's a war on, and we've got to send thousands of ground troops across, and you've got to protect them from air attack. We're nearly there. We've got Berlin in our sights, and they want to weaken the momentum.
Except that the original directive still remains. The industrial system, which includes Berlin.
The primary objective.
The primary objective remaining primary.
Primary objectives come before priorities?
Oh, yes.
And priorities can be delegated. The Americans are only equipped for daylight bombing, and aircraft factories require daylight. Road to Berlin. Well, we've had water. Now let's have fire.
There's been no rain for a fortnight, sir. The weather will remain hot and dry for at least 24 hours. Vegetation and timber buildings will be like tinder. Temperatures in the Hamburg area will be in the 80s.
Operation Gomorrah. Hamburg. Tonight. Let's burn it.
I've got the chaplain here, sir. He'd like to see you.
Important?
He says it is, sir.
Yes?
Sir, I'd be failing my conscience if I didn't come to protest.
What about?
The destruction of Hamburg. I'm sorry, I had no choice.
Neither had I.
I realize this is not a popular thing I'm doing.
Say what you've got to say.
We began the war in the defense of humanity, with God on our side.
Did he tell you that? He didn't tell me.
I think it's so.
You're privileged, Collins.
I was just told to win the war with every means at my disposal, but not God.
Was it necessary?
What, killing people? Barbarism? Savagery? If you're going to win a war, yes.
No. But there are moral limits, surely.
You want me to admit it was a terrible thing we did to Hamburg. Right. It was bloody terrible. It was ghastly. Feel better now? Unless you can offer me alternative targets that will win the war quicker, shut up. You return to your conscience and let me get back to the war. Okay?
I hear you've ignored the point-blank directive. You're not going for the aircraft factories. And you refused to bomb the submarine pens at Bordeaux.
I wouldn't destroy them, but I'd destroy a lot of Bordeaux.
Portal and Bottomley at the Air Ministry want to get rid of you. They've seen the minute you send me about Berlin. At the cost of 500 aircraft, you'll win the war. They think you're dangerously obsessed. How long will you take to destroy Berlin?
With the American 8th, possibly a month. Without it, 6 months.
Was that April?
April the 1st.
Well, we certainly can't mount a seaborne invasion of France before April. But we wouldn't need to invade. You'd do it for us.
Do I have your backing, sir?
I can't get you to the Americans. Anyway, they choose their own targets. I doubt if you'll win the war for us by bombing alone. Well, if you fail, I wouldn't want it to be April the 1st. April the 2nd, yes. But I do want Berlin. I think you better go and see Portal at the Air Ministry, see what he says. And then let me know.
You may have forced the Germans to bring back fighter aircraft from the Russian front. You may have forced them to build anti-aircraft guns instead of tanks, but you've also forced them to build more fighter aircraft, which are going to be deployed against our ground forces on D-Day.
Forget D-Day. It's unnecessary. It's a boating expedition.
All right. You knock out Berlin. You let the Russians in. They sweep across Europe. We haven't got any troops there because you've done the job for them. Stalin occupies the whole of Germany. What then?
They wouldn't be our allies, Peter, if they did that. Anyway, I wouldn't let them.
Why just Berlin? What is it? 8 hours flying? You're sending a force deep behind the enemy lines with no backup and no guarantee of success.
You want the aircraft factories? There are some in Berlin. Oh. Churchill has wanted me to go there for 2 years, and so have you.
The war changes, Bert, and it wasn't about a campaign lasting the whole of the winter, running up to D-Day. Eisenhower's going to take over all command. He'll want you in support of his ground invasion, but he won't want Berlin.
No, he'll want precision targets in France, and I'll be going backwards instead of bloody forwards. Give me the American 8th, Peter. I promise I'll knock out Berlin by the new year. Then I can switch to precision bombing and Eisenhower. How's that?
The Americans won't go to Berlin. They want Schweinfurt, the ball bearing factories, doing exactly what you should be doing, destroying the aircraft industry.
War is a battle between heavyweights. The winner is the one that clubbers hardest with the maximum effort in the minimum time. That means Berlin.
I'll say this, Bert. If single-mindedness was a virtue, you'd be canonized.
Saint Bert. No. You be Saint Peter. It's only the devil that wins wars. Schweinfurt. Berlin. Both a hell of a way, but who'll go through most flak? We can divert north. You can't. The 2 largest air forces ever assembled, and what do they want?
You risking your neck in daylight for a load of balls and me playing bows and arrows in Agincourt.
We could lose 1 million men on D-Day. That's what I'm fighting against, Ira.
American Marines land on the beaches. That's what they want back home.
Is that what you want? Dead heroes? Oh, to hell with them. Come with me to Berlin, by night.
You've got Churchill behind you if anything goes wrong.
Do you believe in it?
Believe what, Bert?
Do you really believe that attacking a couple of ball-bearing factories in Schweinfurt is going to win the war?
I'm just part of an overall strategy, Bert.
The wrong strategy.
I can't go to Berlin. We're not equipped. We're not trained for it. And don't forget, we're Army Air Force. Not a cat in hell's chance.
You know what? We've just extended the war. And it could cost 1 million lives.
You know what, Bert? The difference between you and me, if your heart's right, so is mine. But the real difference is that you don't give a damn about yourself. Now, for a commander with a real big ego, that's quite, and I mean this, quite extraordinary.
The temperatures over northern and eastern Germany will be below freezing but clear. Similarly, skies should be clear in all group landing areas.
Berlin, tonight.
Harry, I don't normally go for bullshit, but this time I think it's called for. I want an order of the day read out at all briefings. Tonight, you are going to the big city. You will have the opportunity to light a fire in the belly of the enemy that will burn his black heart out.
And so it's Berlin or bust. Oh, we didn't want to do it, but we must, boys. Berlin or bust. Someone started kicking up a fuss, boys. Tell them the truth, we loudly roar. And so the RAF have posted leaflets through the door. So it's Berlin or bust. Oh, we didn't want to do it, but we must.
Berlin, tonight.
And so it's Berlin or bust. Oh, we didn't want to do it, but we must, boys. Berlin or bust. Someone started kicking up a fuss.
The attack by a large number of American aircraft was directed at the major ball-bearing factories at Schweinfurt in Bavaria. Considerable damage was caused. As yet, there are no reports of any American casualties or missing aircraft.
Went this morning at 10. Got caught first over Holland. Voucher. Most of the MEs waited till our fighter escort had turned back. When they'd gone, they fell on us. All the way there and all the way back. Sitting ducks. I sent out 291 aircraft. Some of them got back okay. We lost 60. Some of them we had to hose out. They don't want it public. We're not releasing any figures. Bad for morale.
I'm sorry, Ira.
Sorry. Oh. It's me you should be sorry. Oh, the hell with it. You were right. 100%.
Aircraft Productions here. Sir Stafford Cripps.
Really? Must be good news, else he wouldn't dare show his face. Show him in, eh?
No, he's in the mess hall. The Padre's with him.
What?
It was the Padre who invited him.
The Reverend Collins has asked me here today to talk to you about the individual in war. Is God my co-pilot might seem more in the way of his type of sermon than to talk by a minister of the crown, but perhaps I can introduce myself as someone who feels that war is never the be-all and end-all of things, even at the time of fighting. Now, I'm not in the business of moralizing or preaching, but when one is killing people and seeing one's friends and countrymen killed by the same process, we do have to look beyond that savagery to a moment when peace reigns once more and justice and fairness is restored to the world. Of course, we cannot fight a war without being savage, without adopting the bestiality of the aggressor. But at the same time, we do, each of us, have individual consciences, and I don't think, and I must stress here that this is my own opinion, I don't think there is any situation, even in war, when that individual conscience should be taken away. Otherwise, we are taking God away from the co-pilot's seat. Let me give you an example of what I mean. Let's say there is a bomb aimer over Germany who suddenly sees, as in a vision, the horrific casualties that he's causing on the ground. He cannot press that bomb release trigger because of that knowledge. Now, should he be court-martialed for refusing to obey orders, or should he be allowed the freedom of conscience as an individual? Can we, in all honesty, say that that bomb aimer is wrong? Are we, by refusing him that conscience, taking God away not from the co-pilot seat, but from our cause as an allied nation committed to civilization? Surely there is some difference between what we are prepared to do and what the enemy is prepared to do. Otherwise, we are in danger of losing the moral ground we stood on at the outbreak of war.
Minister of Aircraft Production! What the hell's going on?
That won't happen again.
What the hell does he think he's playing at?
Sack the Padre.
What, and admit defeat? No, he's only doing his God job. But Stifford Craps, Minister of Aircraft Production, comes here moralizing about war. All right, Harry. He's sown the wind. You give him a lecture. A Dean of Magdalen Special. Unless, of course, you're in sympathy.
What do you want me to talk about?
How about the ethics of bombing?
Are there any?
Not in my book. What about yours? You're keeping a diary.
What am I wasting my time on? Forget it. We're here to win a bloody war. Tonight.
Sit down, Bert. You don't look well.
I'm fine.
It's 5 months now. How much longer can you carry on?
As long as it takes.
I've had reports that some of your crews are ditching their 4,000-pounders.
They only do that when they need height and speed to get to Berlin.
Operational losses now exceeding 5.5%. I'm sorry, Bert, you've had your chance. Eisenhower takes over your direction a fortnight today. Berlin is over.
Then what? Back to the French coast? Bombing beaches so that the Americans can read in their papers about the successful landings? It's madness. There's no need for conventional warfare anymore. We've got the means to end it. But we can't. We're still trapped by romance and narrow-mindedness.
Bert, where's the whirlwind you promised? Show me the photographs. You're defeated, Bert, and you won't admit it. Until the invasion is over, you take your orders from Ike at Supreme Headquarters.
How many?
Well, the groups haven't all reported back yet.
How many?
90. Over 90 of our aircraft lost. The diversion over the North Sea didn't work. So their night fighters got... They picked us up early. And there was moonlight. All the way.
Sir, the principal medical officer has been waiting to see you. He says it's very important.
Send him in.
Please come in, sir.
Morning, sir.
Do you know what day it is today?
Yes, sir, April the 1st.
What do you want?
I believe the Director of Medical Services tried to see you, but you wouldn't see him.
Too busy. Go on, then.
It's about VD, sir.
I haven't got VD.
No, but the incidence in your command is the highest in the RAF. We're very worried that you're going to have fatalities on your hands.
I have them every night. Do you know how many men I've lost?
Yes, sir.
Well, then, my old lags are more likely to die from a dose of flak over Germany than a dose of clap in the back of pubs in Lincolnshire.
Yes, sir. How about you, sir?
Oh, I'm more likely to die by a firing squad. Yes?
General Spatz has arrived, sir.
Send him in.
Hello, Bert.
Hello, Carl.
Oh, Ira Akers sends his regards.
You didn't come here just to tell me that.
Nope. You and I are gonna win the war. We're both against Overlord. And we command, you and I, the most powerful combination of air power ever seen on this planet. Now, you were right, Bert. We should have gotten together and bombed Germany night and day. But we didn't. That's history. And now we're in trouble. If we follow Ike and give the Luftwaffe time to rebuild in Germany, they could knock Overlord backwards. Well, I've got the answer. No, not Berlin. Oil. Not ordinary oil. Synthetic. If we hit every oil plant in Germany, no tanker aircraft can move. Did you know that last year Germany produced 6.5 million tons of it from coal?
6.6, to be exact.
Bert, this is no panacea.
It's the biggest panacea since we suggested burning down the Black Forest.
Do you know what percentage of our bombing effort has been aimed at synthetic oil so far?
Yes, 1%.
1.2%, to be exact.
It won't win the war, Carl.
Do you want to stop Ike or don't you?
My old lags have given everything. I am not letting them die anymore for nothing. There's only one way to win, and that's the cities.
We've got you and Carl Spatz behaving like schoolboys. He wants the synthetic oil, you want the cities, so to play to win the war. We're trying to launch the biggest invasion in history, and the two leading Air Force commanders aren't interested.
But which of us is right?
Right! Neither of you is right. The only way to win is to support Overlord. And that means first hitting the French railways. We all know how to win a war.
Do we?
You've failed so far.
Because I haven't had the Americans. If we can get Ike...
How can you mount an invasion when both bomber commanders are trying to wreck it? You've both got to cooperate.
Will we both be treated the same?
Yes.
Then why has Ike let Spatz go for synthetic oil and not me, the cities?
It's experimental. I thought you were only interested in winning the war. But you're just like everybody else. Empire-minded. I'm disappointed, Bert.
So am I, Peter. So am I.
Tomorrow morning, you'll get a directive on the teleprinter. Obey it, Bert.
"37 perfectly good railways of the region Nord."
Wipe them out!
Wenn der Führer says, wie ist der Master race? We heil, heil, right in the Führer's face. Not allow the Führer is the greatest race. So we heil, heil, right in the Führer's face.
There's a land of begin again on the other side of the hill, where we learn to love and live again when the world is quiet and still. There's a land of begin again, and there's not a cloud in the sky, where we'll never have to grieve again, and we'll never say goodbye.
The marshalling yards. Traps. All Neu. Le Mans.
I got my eye on a star in the sky, shooting high. I'll never stop till I get to the top. Tell me why shouldn't I? You know it's you I'm after. You're my number star. I'm on a rainbow rafter, climbing up to where you are. I'll have a time, it's a climb, but I'll make it all time.
I've had railways, molybdenum factories, aircraft factories, ball bearing factories. Yes, I even went to Schweinfurt. I've had rubber tires, bridges, marshalling yards, dams and canals, crude oil, synthetic oil, and now your oil, Peter. Everybody down this corridor has got the perfect answer to ending the war. I've had it up to here seeing my old legs shot up, burnt and drowned. I want to get it over. No more recipes for instant success. No more shadow. I want the substance. And the substance is Berlin.
You're being disloyal, Bert.
Then sack me.
Stalin keeps pressing me to bomb the eastern cities. I've told him you were unavailable. You were in Klink. Reich's prisoner.
Tell him I'm out of prison.
Who got you out?
Portal.
And why?
Because he wants me to bomb the oil plants. His new panacea.
And what does your staff advise you about that?
I don't think much of it.
You know, I'm not so sure that winning a war shouldn't be by dictator. Now, how are we going to persuade Portal to change his mind, or is he too far afflicted?
Panacea-itis.
And there's the atomic bomb. What if they get it before we do?
All the more reason to finish it quickly.
All the more reason to help Stalin. We need to bomb those eastern cities.
Okay, gentlemen, let's consider this. Berlin, Chemnitz, Leipzig, Dresden. Which are the primary targets?
Where the synthetic oil is.
Yeah, all right, Bert. No, I think so. Well, come on, beat that.
The overall picture with regard to the Russians is what concerns the chiefs of staff, and should really concern us. The Red Army has reached the Oder, here. The British and American armies are here, on the Rhine. And according to the chiefs of staff, coordination is now essential between those two fronts. General Antonov suggests Berlin and Leipzig should be the primary targets to help the Russian advance. We favor Berlin alone.
And your ministry directive wants Dresden as well. It's a waste of time.
We don't suggest Dresden.
Well, Ike does, and he's backing the chiefs of staff. So you'll get it. He wants to make a main thrust from the west along this axis, Leipzig through Dresden. He wants to join up with the Russians about there.
All we need is Berlin.
I'm shortly seeing Stalin and Roosevelt. I promised Stalin my full support. He's losing a lot of troops. It's critical. He wants certain targets hit. Smashed. I believe they're on your list.
What are they?
Berlin, Chemnitz, Dresden, Leipzig.
Berlin, yes. I'm not so sure about the others.
He is. He's damn sure. Those four. He wants some sort of Gotterdammerung to befall them, something to cause a mass exodus from the city, to hamper German troop reinforcements from the west. Forget Portal, ignore him. Concentrate on the cities. What's untouched? Dresden? Let's have Dresden first.
Bert, why haven't you attacked Dresden? Soon it's going to be too late.
The weather's been bad. I'm trying now.
Well, try hard. I've got the Prime Minister on my back. He says the Russians are kicking up a fuss.
A single red marker will be released by the marker leader over the sports stadium here. Then the leader will order in the remaining Mosquito force to mark with more red indicators. Then the marker leader will give the call sign plate rag, and the main force will come in squadron by squadron and drop their bombs around this sector near the stadium to a maximum radius of 2,400 yards. Being the old wooden city, the area should burn effectively and serve as a beacon for the second wave attack. 0 hour is 22:15, sir.
Why plate rack?
Oh, Dresden, China.
The 14th of February. Last night, a large force from Bomber Command attacked the city of Dresden in eastern Germany. Large-scale damage was caused. The Air Ministry stressed the vital importance of Dresden as a center of communication, as well as the center of a railway network serving a large part of Germany. Though known for its Chinaware output, Dresden is an industrial city of some considerable size, containing large munition workshops in the old arsenal and a great number of light engineering works engaged in war production of all kinds. There are other important factories in Dresden making electric motors and precision and optical instruments as well as chemicals. The buildings of the town have been needed for German...
Get me the Director of Public Relations, Air Ministry.
Yes? Dresden has a considerable value...
What the hell are they playing at?
...which are assembled against the Russian armies led by Marshal
DTR, sir.
As a city, Dresden is comparable to...
I'm being briefed by a long load of bullshit on the wireless. Did you supply it?
The telephone services and the means...
What are they trying to do, make excuses for the raid?
...as essential to the German army as the railways and the roads which meet in Dresden.
Supreme Headquarters have just given a press conference. According to the AP correspondent, they've admitted making a terror raid on Dresden.
Yes.
General Spatz, sir.
Put him on.
During the attack, our pilots report that...
Hello, Carl.
They were able to make...
Yes, I've heard.
...over the target without bothering much about the defense.
What warning?
Earlier reconnaissance shows that a terrific...
As far as I'm concerned, they can say what the hell they like. Bye. Spatz, he says Ike and Arnold are denying the Yanks bombed anything but a military target. They've made a public announcement.
What's going on? Politics.
Don't worry. Churchill will stand by us. Yes.
Bert, Peter here. Bad news, I'm afraid. The Prime Minister's written to us asking us when we're going to stop the terror bombings. Yes, he called the Dresden raid just that, a terror bombing.
Norman read it to me. It's in your interests to demand that he withdraws it. If it becomes public, it'll look as if you're entirely responsible. After all, Ike, Arnold, Spatz are convinced they're public, they're white and white. And you are on public record as having advocated blitzing cities. I think, in this case, you should do what Ike and his generals have done. Put out a disclaimer.
Prime Minister to General Ismay. It's marked for the attention of the Chief of Staff's Committee.
Tell me what it says.
He says, you're bombing simply for the sake of increasing terror. He doesn't think there'll be enough of Germany left to get materials for our own housing needs. We should concentrate on military targets rather than indulging in wanton destruction.
He says that?
Yes.
He says that.
Still working?
Just writing up my diary.
Tell me, did you give that lecture?
Which one was that?
On the ethics of bombing.
No, you told me not to.
Want to give it now?
So therefore, it's not a question of ethics at all. War is not the opposite of peace, nor is it a corollary of it. War is a complete breakdown in civilization. So it shouldn't have ethics thrust upon it, because that way lies danger. That way, war becomes acceptable. The means of death and destruction are immaterial. War was always war. The only difference today is the scale of it. So, when this war is finally over, the world should accept that there is no limit. There are no Hague rules of combat anymore. The worse war is, the more savage it becomes. When people understand this and stop trying to limit it, then perhaps we shall achieve lasting peace.
May I say, I find the lecture on its head. It's not the ethics of bombing, I'd call it, but the bombing of ethics. I'm just wondering if the CNC might care to say something. Or can we defend wholesale slaughter by silence?
We've been accused of murder. What would we have been accused of had we let Hitler and his bloody gang win the bloody war? Yeah. As for Dresden, it's simple. Any psychiatrist can explain it. It's all to do with German brass bands and Dresden shepherdesses. All I can say is that all the German towns put together aren't worth the bones of a British grenadier. Yeah.
You're the commander in the field. You take life, and you save life. Go on then, Harry. Say what you've got to say.
I really would beg you to retract that statement before it gets into all the papers.
Why?
Because you didn't mean it.
Didn't I?
No.
Perverse?
Very.
Well, the war's almost over. Tell me about morality.
I wouldn't presume.
You once told me there were limits to the conduct of war. The war's almost over.
You can tell me.
I don't think the word conduct applies. Far too civilized a word. Intention, yes. Purpose, yes. And I would say that you aim to end the war as quickly as possible in order to save as many lives as possible.
Is that all?
There isn't anything else.
Harry, you're a bloody sycophant.
When they sound the last door clear, how happy my darling will be when they turn up the light and the dark lonely nights are only a nevermore we'll be apart.
What's it you say? One bird doesn't make a summer?
Swallow.
Well, it's over. All over. Bar the shouting.
Bar Japan.
If the atomic bomb works, it'll be a damn sight worse than Dresden.
It's a bomb.
I don't know so much.
And what's the difference between one bomb and 500? They're all meant to kill.
I may have the job of dropping it. Sure, it's a bomb. How do you moralize about bombs, for God's sake?
By the number of lives it saves. If it works out, could save between 2 and 3 million Allied troops and half their lot. War. The only thing that matters is you win. You bloody well win. And then to hell with it.